Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Pokemon Blue Deluxe Nuzlocke. I am Adarum, and we are starting off our episode here with a quick catch. Dawson the Zubat, not an especially interesting first encounter for Mount Moon here. Obviously we have used the Zubat before, and just about everybody has used a Zubat before in a Nuzlocke or a non-Nuzlocke playthrough, so not super interesting, but we'll take it and hopefully eventually replace it with something that is a non-Kanto Pokemon, which is kind of what I've hope to be doing with this run to make things more interesting when possible. But anyways, you'll notice that we're running through this pretty quick here. This commentary is done in post, so that way we can get through Mount Moon a lot quicker here. Obviously I've done all the playing through of this already, and I'm just going to be talking over this, and this gives me a chance to cover some topics about the format of these videos, of this series in general, as well as a couple of boss fights that might be coming up pretty soon here, so I figured we could use this time to do that. And I didn't want to start off this episode with another, just sped up to music kind of montage like we did near the end of last episode, because I don't know, I don't want to open up without actually, welcoming you guys back to the video, which is what I usually do, and I don't want to start with that. I just feel like we should probably get going with some commentary to start things off. So yeah, Mount Moon is a bit of a trek, so I did feel like we should probably speed through it. So, anyways, in the last episode, we got our starter, got our first couple of catches, and beat the first gym leader pretty handily. So yeah, in today's episode, we are hopefully going to be getting to Misty, and before that, we also have a rival fight. A little concerned about the fight with Misty. I don't remember if I mentioned this for sure last episode, but knowing that Brock's Onix knows Rock Slide kind of concerns me that Misty's Starmie will know Psychic or some other potentially dangerous Psychic type move. So I do want to be on the lookout for that, because our one Water type counter, Fennean, our Ivysaur, is going to be weak to Psychic, and I'm not sure if I want to bring out a Joltik against that. By the way, Joltik doesn't evolve until level 36, so that's going to be a while from now. So I don't want to bring out our Joltik against that. So hopefully we get some good catches coming up here. I know it's possible to get Abra on one of the routes coming up, but it's not. I don't know if it has a real high chance to appear. And there's also the fact that it's not guaranteed you'll catch it, because it'll try and run away. There is one catch we have a potential to get right here that, spoilers, we didn't get anything because it was all Dupe's Claws. I came back here to grind a little bit later, and I didn't really come up with anything, so yeah. Alright, so that little run through Mount Moon went a lot faster than I thought it would. I thought I'd have a bit more time to talk about that going through it, so I guess we'll continue our conversation here after we fight our rival, because we do have a bunch of trainers to fight after this. Going into this fight, I'm a little concerned because our rival will have a Pidgeotto, and I wasn't sure what to lead with for this, so I decided to go with Ulai. Fennean obviously won't be a good choice, and yeah, we really don't have any good choices on our team. We got nobody to resist Pidgeotto's attacks. It would have been nice if we could have gotten a Geodude or something like that in Mount Moon, even though that wouldn't have been that interesting because Geodude's fairly common. Let's try something else here. Obviously, this Pidgeotto is going to be getting same type attack bonus off Quick Attack as well as Gust, so that's pretty concerning here. I'm just hoping we can pull something out, and obviously that first hit there was a critical, so let's try lower its defenses maybe. Ooh, okay. That was a little close for comfort there. Maybe if we lower its defenses a little bit, maybe we'll have a better chance. I probably got to spam a couple of potions here real quick. Ooh, and the colors changed there for a second. That's kind of weird. Probably just a quirk of the way the colors were added to this hack. But anyways, let's go ahead and try a Fury attack. And we're getting really close here. If that thing gets another critical, then Jeddak is done for. So hopefully we can land a couple hits with this Fury attack. Four times, that's pretty good. Let's try somebody else here. Randon, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we don't really have many options that this thing won't hit for too much damage. Let's try a Hyper Fang, because Hyper Fang does have a very high base power. By the way, there was a there's a trainer, I don't know if you noticed that I skipped a certain trainer over in Mount Moon. There's a Team Rocket Grunt who has Eradicate at level 16. And that fight for this point in the game is actually incredibly difficult. And in the default game, I'd even say that fight is more difficult than the gym leader that comes before that. So I decided to just skip it. I feel like we're not really missing anything by skipping it because there is the option to skip it. And I felt like that would only lead to trouble because we would be dealing with same type of attack bonus Hyper Fangs, coming off Eradicate's fairly high attack stat for this point in the game. And I think it has a higher chance than usual to critical hit too. I might be mistaken on that one. Okay, I thought that was a critical for a second, but it wasn't. By the way, Bite would not have done as much as you might have thought there because Bite is actually a special move because Dark type is special in this generation since it was added just the same way that Dark type was in Generation 2 and subsequent generations until we actually got the physical special split. So coming off of Rattata's special attack, Bite is not going to be doing too much, even though it's super effective. So for the Charmander, I'm not super concerned about it, so I think I can bring in Fenyon, and its Embers aren't going to do too much, to be honest. We do have a pretty high special stat, and yeah, it shouldn't do too much. Luckily, this thing is not evolved yet, even though it's at the right level to evolve, so I'm not quite sure why that is. It might be a difficulty kind of thing. I mean, this is the way it is in the default game, so I would assume it's a difficulty kind of thing where the creators of the game did not want you coming up against the second stage of your the starter you're weak to. But anyways, let's go ahead and try to whittle it down. Let's go switch to Randan, and I think a Hyper Fang might finish this guy off. Just gotta watch out for those crits. Okay, that crit didn't do too much actually. I'm not too worried. We got the Leech Seed giving us back a bit of health. Let's see if the Hyper Fang finishes off, and it does. Very nice. And there goes our rival. Like I said, I wasn't super concerned about this fight. I'm mostly concerned about the fight with Misty, which will be coming up here in a little bit. But for now, we're going to run back to heal and then continue on with the sped up footage. Alrighty, and with that fight out of the way, we can continue our conversation from earlier. The topics I wanted to cover, namely, I wanted to cover kind of the format that we're going to be going with for this series. So basically, the way I want to do things, to keep things interesting, to make sure there's some kind of suspense in every single episode, I want to try and include at least one boss fight in every single video. Obviously, it's not going to be a gym fight in every video, and it might sometimes be like a rival fight, or it might be a fight with Giovanni from Team Rocket, or I mean, whatever I can get to count as a boss fight. I just want to keep things interesting. I want to get through all the boring, grindy bits. Get past all the random trainers and all that stuff that's not too interesting. Speaking of not interesting, our first encounter for this route was a Metapod, which is kind of disappointing. So Abaddon, the Metapod, you're probably going to rot in our box for quite some time. I do apologize for that. But anyways, I just want to keep things fresh and interesting and make sure we get through this game at a decent speed. I don't want to have any episodes where all we're doing is running through a bunch of fairly easy trainers, so I want to make sure there's at least some semblance of challenge with every episode, some kind of suspense that we might lose somebody, and hopefully I don't like over grind for all these trainer fights and stuff, or all these gym encounters and stuff. I want to keep things interesting, but I also want to play things smart. Obviously, as I kind of explained with my starter choice, I do kind of want to go for the crit spamming Venusaur at some point. So, and hopefully we can pick up a Meowth on this route down here, because that would be another Pokemon that you can also spam crits with, because Persian learns Slash. And, oh, by the way, we get an evolution here for Ulai, who is evolving into Pidgeotto, which will be a welcome addition for as long as we end up using him / her. I guess we don't have genders in this generation. But yeah, it would be nice to pick up a Persian, but we'll just have to see, because it was a Pokemon that's actually pretty competitively viable in Red, Blue, and Yellow, the metagame for those games, because it was, I think it had the highest damage crit spam move in Slash, so it would be an interesting Pokemon to pick up. But anyways, we're already through that speed montage there too, so yeah, let's head on to the gym maybe? Actually, before we grind for the gym or even head into the gym at all or anything like that, I did realize we can actually get through this house right now. I had thought you had to beat the gym before you did this, but I guess not. So I don't think we need Cut to get down south of Cerulean, so I think we can go all the way down there and potentially catch that Meowth I was talking about earlier. That would be a nice addition to our team. I do think that we need to do a bit of grinding before we do actually fight the gym. I don't think we're quite ready in terms of levels or evolutions. I would like to get at least a couple of our Pokemon evolved. Obviously, our Joltik is not going to be evolved into a Galvantula because it doesn't evolve until level 36. And I'm probably going to remove him from my team once we catch some other stuff because I don't really think he'll be that useful. As much as I was really excited to use a Galvantula, I don't think he's really going to be of much use until a little bit later. Anyways, our first encounter is going to be a Purloin. That's fairly interesting. Excuse me. I don't think I've ever used a Purloin before. I'm wondering if it can do the same kind of... Oh, that was close. I'm wondering if it can do the same kind of stuff that Meowth can do. In that I'm wondering if it can learn Scratch and Slash. It won't get the same type of attack bonus, but it might be able to pull off a kind of similar role. We'll just have to see. Alright, so Casual, the Purloin, is being added to our team. Well, actually, he's going to the PC. Let's go ahead down to the daycare, and I'm going to drop off the Zubat there. The Battle Factory. That is not what I was expecting to see down here. Okay, so this hack changed things up a little bit, so that means the daycare must be somewhere else. Interesting. Okay, either that or there is no daycare in the game. That'd be kind of weird. What do you have? Nothing? Oh wait, there we go. A trade. We don't have a Ninetales. Oh well. So actually, I think we can head down. We could probably get all the way to Vermilion City right now if we really wanted to. I never realized we could do this. But for now, let's go ahead and see what we can catch over here. Okay, Dupe's Claws number 1. And number 2. Hopefully we can actually catch something here. That would be nice. I don't know what we could potentially catch here. There's not a whole lot that I know of that would be showing up down this area. A Bellsprout. Okay, I will take a Bellsprout. We've used a Bellsprout before, but that's okay. We can always use some extra grass coverage for this upcoming gym. And that might be the extent to which I use this Bellsprout, because we have used the Bellsprout. Well, we used the Bellsprout line technically in 2 previous playthroughs, but it was the same Bellsprout. It was Bristle, the Bellsprout, who evolved into a Weepinbell, and then a Victreebel, and then eventually was transferred up from one game to the next. Anyways, I've got a bit of grinding to do before the next gym, so I will probably just cut until we've gotten some of that grinding done. And we're ready to face the gym. Okay, so Randan is evolving into Eradicate at level 20. So that's probably where I'm going to stop with the grinding for him. And then I'm just going to try to get everybody to level 20. I think that's a good level to have people at. And Jadak is going to evolve into a Fearow at level 20 as well. So that's 2 level 20 evolutions. And then I don't think we're going to get our Bellsprout evolved this episode. Or our Purloin, but that's okay. So anyways, yeah, I think we're about ready to take on the gym. Alrighty, so here we go. We're heading into the Cerulean City Gym. Got a couple of trainer fights to get through real quick here. And then we'll be taking on Misty. By the way, I do believe in this generation, if you go down to those statues down there, you can actually fish on them, although you can't catch anything, and you can also surf on them. Okay, so after a quick run back to heal after those 2 trainers, I think we want to lead with Fenyon here, because Misty will not be leading with her Starmie. She's probably going to have some kind of other newer generation Pokemon, considering the fact that Brock had a Roggenrola. But I'm not... I don't know what to expect. She might even have more Pokemon than just 2. The default game, she just has 2, so let's see. She has 2. And it's a Shelder. Okay, so it's not a newer generation Pokemon, but it is different than her usual lead, I think. Pretty sure that usually she leads off with the Staryu, and then comes out with the Starmie. So let's hit it with a Vine Whip. Shelder does not have a very good special, so it's going to go down pretty quick. It does have pretty high physical defense, so if we were playing a later generation, that wouldn't do as much. And a Cloyster, she doesn't even have her signature Starmie. Okay, Cloyster is actually concerning as well, because Cloyster is part ice type, and we've got a lot of Pokemon weak to ice. Poop. I didn't think of this. I didn't think of this at all. I did not expect to see a Cloyster here. Okay, well, it is nice to see that things are going to be going not quite to plan, because that means that things should be interesting. I do think the game is more interesting when I don't know quite what to expect, because it becomes more difficult that way. I know the previous hack that I played, I had actually played through the hack all the way, and I actually also edited the trainers to be more difficult, to be fair, but I also edited them myself, so I knew what was coming, so I feel like that might have been a little unfair. Also, that's a continuous attack, so we can't retreat out of here, and also we, yeah, are in trouble. Because when an attack like that continues to go, an attack like Wrap or Clamp or something like that, you cannot attack and you cannot retreat. You can't switch to anybody else. So Bubble Beam is gonna hurt. Randon, hang in there. Okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie. So this thing so far, it's used Supersonic, Clamp, and Bubble Beam. I can hope that it doesn't have an ice type attack. I can hope. Clamp, okay, we're gonna be trapped by that for a couple turns, so that's kind of unfortunate. Luckily, it's not very effective. I guess Clamp is a, it's a special move, isn't it? And it's also a water type move, that's what I meant to say, I don't know. Okay, so just Bubble Beam, and then a Vine Whip should do a decent amount, because again, special attack against a Pokemon that doesn't have a very high special. Not a whole lot, but decent. It's also faster than me. I never really imagined Cloyster to be a very fast Pokemon, but I guess that's okay. Hit it with a couple more Vine Whips, and that should be this gym down, unless Misty uses the potion. But that's fine, because we'll finish this thing off pretty quick after this. And another Bubble Beam shouldn't do too much. Even if it's a crit, it would not have knocked us out. And there we go. To be honest, a little disappointed. I feel like if that thing had an ice type move, it would have been more difficult. Obviously, the hacker had no qualms about adding different moves to the game. Obviously, the Brock's Onix had Rock Slide, which is a more difficult move than you normally have at that point in the game. So I'm kind of confused as to why it didn't have something like, I don't know. Does Aurora Beam even exist in this generation? I mean, maybe even like Ice Beam? I mean, Rock Slide is a similar kind of base power to Ice Beam, so I don't know if there really would have been that much difference between the two. But, oh well, I mean, I'll take an easy fight, and I don't really expect too much from Lieutenant Surge, but again, I mean, considering that Misty threw out something that I completely wasn't expecting, I wouldn't be surprised to see something... Oops, didn't mean to talk to you again. I wouldn't be surprised to see something completely different than what we're expecting here. So that fight was actually pretty quick. That only took like 5 minutes, and I have everything else all edited together and everything, so the rest of this episode, I mean, so I think we're only up to less than 20 minutes in this video. So we may as well head down to Vermilion City just to get there and call it an episode there. So I'll meet you guys back down on this route over here rather than dragging you through this tunnel again. Alrighty, and I do believe there are a couple trainers to fight here, so we'll get through all these guys. And maybe we'll do one more catch just to finish off the video. We'll just have to see what our time is looking at after this, although going through all these trainers, considering I'm just skipping them for the sake of the video, shouldn't take too long. And I believe we just have 2 more trainers, or maybe there's 3 more. Okay, so there's a couple of trainers right here. Let's bring somebody else out. I haven't gotten much use out of Casual yet, because she's a little frail, and she doesn't really have much for attacking yet, other than Scratch and Fury Swipes, which obviously aren't that great of moves, especially since she's not even getting same type attack bonus off of them. And I'm not sure what level Purloin evolves at, because again, I've never used one, but it should probably be around 20 or sometime in the lower 20s, I would guess, because it is an early game kind of Pokemon. And it's usually kind of the kind of Pokemon that you tend to use just for the early game and kind of ditch a little bit later on, to be quite honest. But anyways, I think we're going to cover the SS Anne in the next episode. That'll kind of be our probably sped up little section there. This episode, let's see if we can get a catch over on this route here. I know normally you can get some glitchy tiles here. That's interesting. do we want to send out for our catch? Let's keep Casual out, and I think we can run into Drowsy here. That would be an interesting one to see. And of course, any Pokemon that is a newer generation, other than the usual Kanto Pokemon, would be nice to see as well. I say any Pokemon, but there are obviously some Pokemon I wouldn't like to see. And we have a Drowsy, which I will take. Psychic types are, of course, incredibly good in this generation, although, of course, we do have the Steel and Dark types added in, so they aren't quite as good as they would have been in the default game, but they're still incredibly good, and, of course, a special attacker is still going to have all of its special attack and special defense are combined due to the way the stats work in this game. So, anyways, pretty easy catch for that Drowsy, although we are going to have to grind it up a little bit to get it up to par with the rest of our team. Alright, so Deluba the Drowsy. I will probably go ahead and grind this guy up off camera between episodes, and then I'll probably actually go ahead and fight all these trainers on this route off camera, because I don't think there's really anything interesting over there. And then we do also have a catch in Diglett's Cave, which will probably be a Diglett. And in fact, we're still pretty good on time, so let's go ahead and just get that Diglett out of the way. That would probably be another good one to grind up off camera to help with the fight against Lieutenant Surge, although I don't know if we really need that much help because we do have Fenyon, our Ivysaur, who will resist any moves that I think the Lieutenant Surge could potentially throw at us, although he could have some surprises. So this thing's actually at a decent level. It's already, mostly up to par with the rest of our team, so that'll be a nice little addition there. Let's go for a Fury Swipes and hope it doesn't hit too many times. And we missed. Okay, let's go ahead and just switch into somebody else then. I think Breast actually has Sleep Powder. So if we can put this thing to sleep, we might not even need to worry about whittling us down its health too much. Yeah, there we go, Sleep Powder. Alright, didn't quite catch it that time. Let's try one more. Okay, so I had to switch around my team a little bit because that Diglett got a couple crits off on Breast the Bellsprout. So I switched into Jadek. I thought a Peck, since it's not a very high base power move, would not knock out the Diglett, but unfortunately it did. So we're not going to get a catch for Diglett's Cave, so that's kind of sad. But, oh well, I think we can deal with it. I think we'll have an okay time with the gym coming up. We do have a couple Pokemon to resist Electric-type moves, so I think we'll be mostly fine. So yeah, that'll end off today's episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, next episode we'll take on Lieutenant Surge. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.